public-private partnership space in India. Quality services at reasonable and attractive rates. Offering technology-enabled diagnostic services to public and private hospitals, medical colleges and community health centers. A pan-India presence with one of India's largest teleradiology reporting hubs in Pune, serving millions of customers. Krasna Diagnostics Limited, built upon the pillar of Let's Do Good. For risk factors and details, refer to the red herring prospectus.
Exaro Tiles Limited launches initial public offer of equity shares through the book building process in a price band of Rs 118 to Rs 120 per equity share of Rs 10 each face value. Bid offer opens on Wednesday, August 4th and closes on Friday, August 6th, 2021. For risk factors and more details, please refer to the red herring prospectus available on the websites of SEBI, stock exchanges and the book running lead manager.
Newer Nirman from Nuvoco is focusing on technology to create benchmarks with new generation products. New is Nuvo technology. New is Nuvoco.
When we get 3.2 crore average unique visitors every month, when we have over 8 lakh vehicles listed for auction, clearly there is only one gear we know: Car Trade Tech, India's #1 online auto portal.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई आग से बचाए।
Krasna Diagnostics Limited, one of the largest differentiated diagnostic service providers with the largest presence in the public-private partnership space in India, now makes a public issue of equity shares of face value of 5 rupees each for cash at a premium. The 100% book-built issue is being offered in a price band of 933 to 954 rupees per equity share. Opens on August 4th, closes on August 6th, 2021. Investors should read the red herring prospectus carefully before making an investment decision.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. It's time for us to take the queries segment, and in fact, quite a few of you have already written in. I want to ask at the start to have a little patience with us. Going through a little bit of a change, and we'll have to plan this accordingly. This live query segment will be split into 2 segments. The first one will run up to about 11:25, and then we'll start again at 11:30. So in case your query is not answered, or if you'd like to join back again, do remember that we're going to join back after that. All right, we've got a question coming in on the medium-term view for Balrampur Chini. So I'm going to come across to you on this one, Gaurang. Sundaresan is asking, he's got 500 at levels of 345. Would you suggest that this is the best pick from the sugar space?
Well, Alex, so that was the only stock that we covered once upon a time in the entire sugar pack. And of course, over the last maybe couple of quarters, because of the ethanol story, we've seen most of the sugar stocks fired up on all cylinders. Now, as a disclosure, since the coverage was there and the targets are in place, my advice to him would be to, on rallies, possibly book profits. In terms of valuation, remains to be seen how soon the oil marketing companies are capable of blending higher amount of ethanol with petrol and diesel. And that's a capacity constraint as of now, Alex. So, according to us, the sugar stocks are looking fairly valued. On rallies, book profits, and possibly if you want to move this investment into private sector bank, then ICICI Bank or an Axis Bank would be a preferred bet.
This one is coming in from Santi, and this one is for you. Kunal has bought a Dabur August call option 6:30 at 8.5. She taken this call yesterday based on results. Wants to place she's placed rather stop loss at 3.9. Need the suggestion whether she should hold or close the call option. This is a Dabur August call option 6:30.
So I would suggest to stick to the stop loss. The reason for that is because even after the good results yesterday, there was a good amount of call writing which happened for Dabur at the 6:20 strike. Now, generally what happens is, just prior to result or post result, if you see a strong built up of options, on option side, it indicates that there have been fresh writing of options at those kind of levels rather than fresh buying at those levels. So typically, I think that 620 mark for Dabur could act as a hurdle and a resistance for the near term. So I think purely on that aspect, I would suggest that you should stick to your stop loss and exit the trade if the stock hits your, or the option hits your stop loss point.
Okay, long-term query. This is on a public sector bank. Coming to you, Gaurang, on this one. Punjab National Bank. I think GNPs are still a bit of an issue for the bank. If I'm not mistaken, they're still around 15% or thereabouts. Bhabatosh Mohanty is bought at levels of 42.3 and he's asking if he can hold for the long term. What would you say that he should do?
Well, it's a tricky one, Alex, because we have a coverage on PNB. That's a disclosure again, but we've been recommending this public sector bank stock to those traders stroke investors from a medium to long term point of view who have got elevated risk appetite. And the fact that his investment is at a higher level, that's a concern itself. You are absolutely right. There are concerns as far as the gross and the net NPAs are concerned. Along with that, Alex, there is the elevated level of provisioning. And more so, our reason for recommending this stock to high risk appetite investors stroke short term, medium term traders is purely because of the loan book exposure being exposed to vulnerable sector. Now, this is a cause of concern in an environment like this because anytime you can see spike up of GNPA levels and thereby provisioning going up. There is improvement, no denying. But if I have to choose a relatively better investment idea in the PSU bank, then State Bank of India or Bank of Baroda would be a preferred choice.
This one is from Pragya, wants a long-term view on Cummins and Balaji Amines, wants to buy these particular stocks. Gaurang, either of them, does it make sense to buy these counters, and what's your view for the longer terms, Cummins and Balaji Amines?
So, Cheryl, I would restrict my comments to Cummins because that's where we have a coverage. On Balaji Amines, we don't have a coverage. So, according to the regulation, I won't be able to comment on that. But yes, the stock Cummins look very promising and the growth prospects look very, very strong. So, if you want to buy it from a long-term point of view, I would definitely agree with the investment idea of Cummins.
All right, Sushma is asking an interesting question, Kunal. She's saying that Strides Arcolab just doesn't move. She's been watching it for the last 3 to 4 months. And she's asking, therefore, is there a problem with the stock?
Well, I think there are some stocks which have a tendency of remaining sideways. There are some stocks which they don't get affected by market volatility, and they have their own own sweet trend as such. So Strides, Shashun Strides Arcolab is a stock which falls in that kind of a category. The stock has a tendency of rising up pretty quickly after going through months of consolidation. So it's not as if that is the first time that the stock has seen a consolidation. The last time the stock had seen such a kind of a consolidation as well was somewhere in the end of 2020, where it remained sideways at 400 levels for almost 2.5 or 3 months and then rallied up very swiftly. Right now, the consolidation for Strides has extended more than I think 4 or 5 months as well. So I believe that the stock has this tendency. If you are a patient long-term investor, then I don't see any reason why you should get a bit jittery on your investments over here. And I think it's a good buy on dips candidate. So if you bought at assuming at higher levels, I would suggest you to average out at closer to 770, 775 on the price levels.
Okay, this one is coming in from Manik. He's bought about 3,500 shares of SAIL at 138 rupees per share. He wants to know what's the long-term view on SAIL. Gaurang, he's already purchased SAIL at about 138 rupees per share. Does it make sense for Manik to stay put, and in the longer term, how does SAIL look fundamentally?
Well, Cheryl, the sector specification preference or identification is good, that is metals. But unfortunately, I don't think SAIL is the strongest or a better investment bet. And at the levels where it is trading, I think again valuation wise it is extremely stretched, either at current levels or you see rallies. Try to come out of this, and if you want to bet in the metals universe, then two big boys, Tata Steel and JSW Steel, you can pick either of them from a long-term point of view. But SAIL, I'm afraid, in terms of valuation, it looks extremely stretched.
Okay, let's take the next one. This is on the banking space yet again, and we've got Luke who's asking about J&K Bank and what your thoughts are for the long term, Gaurang. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you had said at the start also that ICICI Bank and a couple of the private sector banks are looking quite good at this point.
Yes, absolutely, and this is one of the riskiest banks, Alex, and we know what the news flow has been. And in terms of performance, how the earnings have got dented. And I would request all the viewers of Buy Now, Sell Now, since I am on the show, Alex, that you need to be very careful. Just don't look at the price of the stock and go and get attracted towards it. There are fundamental reasons why some stocks are trading at fair value, some at premium, and some at discount. And this is one of the banking stocks, J&K Bank, which is a little bit vulnerable to earnings outlook as well as certain news flow. If you want to look at certain smaller size banks on the lower trajectory, then amongst the private sector bank, we saw numbers from IDFC First Bank. Of course, there were concerns in terms of provisioning because of moratorium, etc. But the commentary of the management is extremely strong in terms of overcoming the grey areas and getting back into the green. So IDFC First Bank or a Federal Bank or a Catholic Syrian Bank or a City Union Bank would be preferred bets compared to J&K Bank.
All right, that's the note coming in from Gaurang for all the viewers of Buy Now, Sell Now on what strategy or what should you apply while actually picking your stocks. But on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. But for all of our viewers, we will be coming back with the queries after this break, so don't go anywhere.
Exaro Tiles Limited launches initial public offer of equity shares through the book building process in a price band of Rs 118 to Rs 120 per equity share of Rs 10 each face value. Bid offer opens on Wednesday, August 4th and closes on Friday, August 6th, 2021. For risk factors and more details, please refer to the red herring prospectus available on the websites of SEBI, stock exchanges and the book running lead manager.
With a bang, energy and change came to every part of our universe. Seismic or small, it continues.
Change is all around us, shaped by technology and human ingenuity. We can make it work for you and your business.
Let there be change. Accenture.
Krasna Diagnostics Limited, one of the largest differentiated diagnostic service providers with the largest presence in the public-private partnership space in India, now makes a public issue of equity shares of face value of 5 rupees each for cash at a premium. The 100% book-built issue is being offered in a price band of 933 to 954 rupees per equity share. Opens on August 4th, closes on August 6th, 2021. Investors should read the red herring prospectus carefully before making an investment decision.
Windlass Biotech Limited proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The book-built offer is being offered at a price band of Rs 448 to Rs 460 per equity share. Offer opens on Wednesday, August 4, 2021. Offer closes on Friday, August 6, 2021. For risk factors and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated July 24, 2021, which is available on the websites of SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges.
We all need safe water. India's rapid urbanization led to increased water pollution. Toshiba developed a water purification system and 9 sewage treatment plants keep the Ganges River clean. We drive the power for a cleaner, safer, and more dynamic future for us all. For a new day, Toshiba.
Devyani International Limited. Initial public offer of equity shares of face value of ₹1 each through the book building process in a price band of ₹86 to ₹90 per equity share. Bid offer opens on August 4th and closes on August 6, 2021. For risk factors and more details, please refer to Red Herring Prospectus dated July 26, 2021, available on the websites of SEBI, the lead managers and the stock exchanges.
Krishna Diagnostics Limited, one of the largest differentiated diagnostic service providers with the largest presence in the public-private partnership space in India. Quality services at reasonable and attractive rates. Offering technology-enabled diagnostic services to public and private hospitals, medical colleges and community health centers. A pan-India presence with one of India's largest teleradiology reporting hubs in Pune, serving millions of customers. Krishna Diagnostics Limited, built upon the pillar of Let's Do Good. For risk factors and details, refer to the Red Herring Prospectus.
Exaro Tiles Limited launches initial public offer of equity shares through the book building process in a price band of ₹118 to ₹120 per equity share of ₹10 each face value. Bid offer opens on Wednesday, August 4th and closes on Friday, August 6th, 2021. For risk factors and more details, please refer to the Red Herring Prospectus available on the websites of SEBI, stock exchanges and the book running lead manager.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now, and let's continue with our queries. Then this one is from Mr. Balan saying he has 500 shares of Manali Petro, which he's purchased at 84 rupees per share. He's wondering, is it worth holding or should he shift to names in the banking or mid-sized IT? What's your view, Kunal? Makes sense for Mr. Balan to hold on to Manali Petro, which he's purchased at 84 rupees per share?
I think it makes sense, in fact, to switch from this stock towards banking names. I think there are a lot of banking stocks which are still underperforming, and the ones which are below their even their 6-month, 7-month highs in that sense as well. So large cap names, for example, Kotak Bank, HDFC Bank, they are available at good prices at current levels. And looking at the way the markets are shaping up in momentum, I think it's going to be a good strategy to try and chip into these names. So I would suggest a switch from Manali Petro towards large cap banking names, specifically likes of Kotak Bank, HDFC Bank, or even an SBI, even though the stock is perched at fresh highs for itself.
Gaurang, coming to you on this next one. LIC Housing Finance, Sushrit is asking about this one. He's got 100 shares at levels of 400. It has corrected since that point. He's asking if he should average or should he exit.
Well, I would definitely advise him to stay with a little bit of patience, and if he's got investable amount, he can possibly at lower levels average LIC Housing Finance. As a disclosure, Alex, we remain positive. And one of the major beneficiaries of the turnaround that we are witnessing in the real estate sector is definitely going to be HFC segment, that is housing finance companies. Lower interest rates, lower prices, policy changes in terms of the real estate sector from the government, RERA, etc. augurs extremely well. And if I have to just spin back and just reflect upon the commentary by HDFC Limited, Mr. Mistry, and of course other housing finance companies, then the outlook looks extremely strong. So have patience, stay invested, and if you have investable amount, you can average as well.
This one is coming in from Padma, saying that she's bought about 400 shares of Precision Camshaft at 101 rupees per share, 200 shares of Vishwaraj Sugars at 145 rupees per share. Wants to know whether she should continue to hold on to these counters or switch to metals or pharma. Kunal, either Precision Camshaft or Vishwaraj Sugars, either of them which you have coverage on, what should Padma do?
So I think out of the two, precision camshaft, the chart looks a bit more stable. The last, I think 3-4 months, the stock has done exceptionally well from 40 rupees or just thereabouts. The stock is now at 100 plus levels. I sense that I think the view seems to have bought at the slightly higher levels of the price rally for precision camshaft. So just be ready for maybe some near-term volatility or consolidation into the stock price. But the other part of the question is also very intriguing, that whether a switch has to be made towards the metal stocks and the pharma names. So yes, both these sectors look very attractive. From a longer term play. So if you have time at your side and you're looking at converting your short term holdings and your investments into more of a long term play, then I would suggest a switch towards these two sectors. And there are a lot of large cap names even in the metal stocks or metal sector as of now, which is still looking very attractive. So from that play, I would suggest that you can look to add on to your investments into these two sectors, but specifically have a longer term time horizon into these sectors.
Okay, this is a stock that is in focus today. Top gain on the Nifty. HDFC is a counter. Rafi is asking about this. Kunal, coming to you on this one. Bought at the current price, considering the kind of run-up that it's had both yesterday and today, what is the prospect for the near term, for the short term?
See, in fact, HDFC was also one of my recommendations yesterday and today morning as well, Alex. And I maintain that stance that this is a stock which has found its mojo back. So, what was missing out for HDFC Limited particularly was the lack of price trends shaping up into these names. So it was very, very dull sideways price action for HDFC Limited. In fact, the chunk of volumes in last 4 days has increased significantly. So you look at the volumes in the last 4 days for HDFC Limited as compared to the volumes say over the last 3-4 months as well. And there's been a huge jump in volumes, trading activity, and the price is also reciprocated in a very similar kind of a manner. So this is a sign of a new trend building up for HDFC Limited. Even if you bought at current levels, which is slightly elevated levels, I would suggest that keep some powder dry and look to average if the stock goes through a routine or a short-term correction. So if it comes back towards say 2600 odd levels, that should be a good level where you can look to average out further.
Okay, this one is coming from Jayant, and this is on the IPOs that's there. That's Devyani International and Exora Tiles. Gaurang, he wants to know, does it make sense to subscribe in either of them?
So Devyani International is something that we are recommending, Cheryl, as an investment in the IPO. And I think just yesterday or late evening, we have come out with a IPO note on Devyani International, and I was listening into the management on the pre-IPO and the business outlook. Looks extremely promising. You have KFC, you have Pizza Hut, you have Costa Coffee, and all these franchisees are on long-term basis. And the most important aspect is that they don't have to pay a higher amount of premium for continuity of this business with the player. Secondly, I think the QSR segment is looking extremely strong, and being one of the dominant players with powerful brands, you can definitely subscribe for it. It's the losses are narrowed down, but the management commentary was that if you don't get badly hit by the third wave, then possibility of coming in the green is very much likely for this financial year. So we have a subscribe on the IPO for Devyani International. The other one, we have not got any recommendation, so I will not be in a position to comment on that.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to try and slip in as many questions as possible in the next 4 minutes. We're pressed for time, so do keep your answers a little short. The next one's also for you, Gaurang. Fundamental view on Newland Laboratories is what Saumitri is asking for. Is it a better bet than Aarti Drugs?
Well, I would recommend Aarti Drugs, Alex, because we have a coverage over there.
View on CRM Silks is part of a small cap portfolio holding about 500 shares at 190 rupees per share. He's aiming for bigger targets in the stock, so he wants to know, is it possible fundamentally for CRM Silks? Gaurang, what's your view?
Well, I don't have any coverage, nor do I have any view on the counter. I'm sorry.
problem. Kunal, would you like to take this one on CRM Silks? What should Sagar do?
So I think you can hold on to your investments over here, even though the stock looks to be going through a consolidation mode. Probably short term wise, you might see some correction shaping up on the stock, maybe coming back towards that 400 or slightly below that as well. So it's possible that from a near term you might see the stock correcting. But if you bought at lower levels and you're making good money on your investments, I would suggest that you can hold on. And I believe if the near term chart plays out, I think the stock is still way below its long term highs. I think 50% lower still from its long term highs or all time highs of 900 or 850 odd levels. So I think in that sense, there seems to be more room ahead from a longer term play for the stock. So I would suggest hold on, even if the stock goes to a short term volatility.
Gaurang, coming to you, Manohar is asking about the IT pack as a whole. We've seen the rally in the recent past, in fact, over the last several months. He thinks that they're looking a little bit overvalued, but within that pack, would you say that a stock or a particular stock still has significant room upside?
Well, it's a whole universe, Alex, and I've heard a few names. But if I have to stick one or two in the large cap and mid cap, then I think HCL Tech looks extremely promising. We have revised targets of 1200, 1250. TCS, Infosys, Tech Mahindra also prefers reflect in the buy list. And amongst the mid cap IT, I think some of the mid cap ITs have kept on outperforming even the larger players. So we are extremely positive on Coforge, L&T Infotech, and L&T Technologies.
Soumitra, he wants to know which of these stocks are better to accumulate currently, HDFC or Aavas Financials at current levels. Kunal, what's your view? HDFC or Aavas?
Undoubtedly, would probably be a good bet at current levels. I think the stock is just going through a recovery process. What you've seen right now, as I just discussed some time back as well, Cheryl, that the stock is going through more of a a retrend process, where it's trying to come back again after months of consolidation. So the probability of the stock continuing to move up higher is far more than many of the other large cap names as well. So purely on that aspect, purely on the fact that the stock has got recently into the momentum phase, I would suggest that HDFC would probably be a better bet. Not just from, as I said, from a short-term view, but even from a longer-term view. I think quality stocks like HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, etc., they should be a part of a longer-term portfolio.
All right. On that note, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time, for taking all the queries that you did, and also the discussion that we had on Bharti Airtel. It was quite interesting. We're slipping into a short break. Everybody who's joined in on social media who hasn't had their query answered today, apologies for that. We'll be back tomorrow and we'll take a lot more. Thank you so much for watching. We're slipping into a short break. More on the other side. Do stay tuned.
Exaro Tiles Limited launches initial public offer of equity shares through the book building process in a price band of Rs 118